Good evening, everybody. I have some news. I have decided to give up smoking.
Yes.
E-cigarettes. Fucking point now, since the war in Ukraine began, it's just no purpose anymore in maintaining the charade of cessation. I don't want to be one of these people who die in a mushroom cloud smoking a fucking vape. What would be, it's just going to be embarrassing. When I hear the warning go for 4 minutes, I'm going to get on top of a hill. Salisbury, well, no, I'm not fit enough to do that. I'm going to get up onto a small ledge. And what I want to do, I don't want to be smoking a vape. I want to get there so that I can see the mushroom cloud in the distance, and then I'm waiting for the flash. Because at that point, I want to have rolled my rollie and have it like this. And then I want to be like, oh no, I've forgotten my lighter. Oh, never mind. That's how I want to die. Not like a wimp. A bit of fucking vape plastic plastered over my nose. I'll fucking die like a man. What can you do, eh? It's like a terrible time at the moment. I mean, how do we cope? How do we cope with anything? Like, I cope by answering questions as unhelpfully as humanly possible. I was in a gay bar the other day. A man came up behind me. I felt a sexy voice vibrating in my ear. He said, "Hey, buddy, do you like BBC?" I said, "Well, I still watch the news." I think the sitcoms have gone downhill since Fawlty Towers. A woman said online, "I'm worried about my 22-year-old daughter. I think that she's dating her fifth cousin. What shall I do?" I said, "Madam, don't worry about it. She's already dated 4 of her cousins. Let her go. She's just clearly into incest." Someone also said on Quora, particularly stupid, he said, what screams, "I'm an undercover police officer"? I said, "A very bad police officer." Fucking idiot. He's asking for it. Someone said, I was on the history section of Quora, and they said, what would JFK have done? And for you young people out there, that's President Kennedy from the 1960s. He said, what would JFK have done if he had survived the assassination? And I said, I don't know, but I am sure that he would have developed an incredible hat collection. I've done that joke about 10 times now, it's never worked. Don't know why, I guess it's just gross and not funny. That's just how I sort of began my comedy career. But I just identify with President Kennedy. I find it hard not to like him. I think he's very much like me. I feel a kinship with President Kennedy in that it feels like a lifetime ago since I last had my brains blown out in a 3-way. Got a shit political system at the moment. But, you know, I mean, these are some of the problems. Okay, forget the big problems for now. Prince Harry has been making me laugh. Prince Harry, now this is, I bought his book. Prince Harry is not racist, he tells us, but he does have unconscious bias. Unconscious bias. But he overcame his unconscious bias, didn't he? He overcame his unconscious bias. Do you know how? He joined the British Army. Oh, I see. You joined the British Army, and then he killed 25 foreigners. So if you ever want to overcome your unconscious bias, if you ever feel a little bit xenophobic or maybe a little bit racist, join the British Army, and then from your helicopter gunship, as a prince of the realm, The helicopter gunship incidentally called an Apache, named after a race of people that we also massacred in their name. And that's how you can be less racist. Like me and Prince Harry. I saw, this is just because it happened the last couple of days. I don't know if this is funny, but do you know Ian Duncan Smith? He was fucking trade secretary. I don't usually give a fuck about domestic stuff. I'm all about international. But sometimes it's so fucking in your face. Like, in 2019, Ian Duncan Smith took 2 or 3 years to reform the tax system. Do you know what he was saying he was doing for that? The whole purpose, his whole scope of the exercise was to simplify the tax system. It was to simplify the tax system. And then the chairman of the Conservative Party on Monday had to be fired because he took 5 million quid. The simplification of that tax system appears to have been to make it simpler for Conservative Party ministers to nick fucking millions of pounds! But the main thing I really fucking hate is anything to do with international politics. It really irritates me. Like, I don't think that we have the kind of threats that people say that we have. It's just fucking bullshit. Like, they're saying Iran, like under the Trump administration, they were saying that Iran is the home base for Al-Qaeda. The home base for Al-Qaeda. Well, if their nuclear weapons are as difficult to assemble as their fucking bookshelves, I think we're going to have a few years yet sending over drones that aren't properly screwed in because they can't find a fucking Allen key. There's definitely a fucking piece missing here! I bought the whole thing! Iraq, we went over to Iraq in 2003. And at the time, the Americans, I don't trust them. The Americans said, the Iraqis have 5,000 tons of mustard gas. 5,000 tons of mustard gas. You know, we got that. After 14 years of sanctions, they didn't even have any fucking mustard. A hot dog in Baghdad was a fucking rum affair from 1990 to 2007. A shit fucking storm. I don't even believe it about Russia, to be honest with you. Like, and I sometimes think that we're just jealous. Like, they keep saying this on the news recently. I heard the British minister say that Russia, what Russia's strategy is to divide and destroy the European Union. That's their aim, is to divide and destroy the Union. And we don't like that, because that's our job, isn't it? It's our fucking job. It's our fucking job. That shit. Yeah. So what I kind of think, like, we've got a crumbling fucking education service, we've got a crumbling NHS, we've got a crumbling fucking society here. Obviously not in Bath, we're fine, it's going to be great. Our society over the past 30, 40 years has become fucking a lot worse because of the division, division of rich and poor. And the society is getting worse. It's fucking terrible. It's happened since Thatcher. And that's not to put all the blame on Thatcher, but we are all Thatcher's children. She was a major fucking influence. We call ourselves Thatcher's children. That's what sociologists would say, that we are all Thatcher's children. We don't give that epitaph to anyone else. We don't say that we're Theresa May's children. We don't say that we're Boris Johnson's children. Well, actually, we might. We don't really know how many fucking kids that guy's got. But yeah, things aren't all bad. I mean, there are some positives sometimes. Like we are all in it together. Let's face it. Like there is a fuel crisis, but like the other day I saw Prince Andrew, for instance, filling up his 17-year-old escort, and it cost him £12 million. So like, seems about right for the prices at the pubs these days. And we've got some good news in our country, like we're hosting the Eurovision Song Contest, for instance. I don't know if you're aware of that. We're hosting the Eurovision Song Contest. We're doing it because Ukraine was unable to do it. Ukraine won the last Eurovision Song Contest, but they couldn't host it. I kind of think that Ukraine would have won Eurovision, whatever they'd entered though, don't you? Yeah, I do. I think that Ukraine could have entered fucking Jeffrey Dahmer doing a cover of Wonderwall on a xylophone made out of Madeleine McCann's spine. Myra Hindley stepping out of dry ice to perform a saxophone solo. Terry Wogan just like, nah. Anyway, right, so I'm going to wind up. Thanks for listening. I was going to say that I do like so the reason I was mentioning about the crumbling infrastructure is I think we need to find a good country to invade. And hear me out. I don't mean that we, Britain, should go and look for countries that we can invade. I mean, we should find a good country that adheres to international law and maybe has good social services, and we should get them to invade us. But where the fuck is Germany when you need them? Hello, Germany. Oh no, we do not do this. We look after our railways and we've learned the international law that you tell us to learn. Yes, obviously. No, we fucking want you to do it this time. Come on, buddy. Third time lucky. Come on. Sort out the fucking system.